to be the prologue, or like the prior game. And I believe Loren, the Amazon princess, has to do with, the child Loren that we saw a little bit in Cursed Lands. And there's an expansion, Castle of the Mars, been activated and everything. So yeah, let's see what we've got going on here. Loren, the Amazon princess. And am I crazy, or does that look like the Serpent Boy that's in the epilogue? Is he like a guardian now in this game? That would be pretty cool, tying the games together and whatnot. So, let's start. We've got two different playstyles. Characters start with one known skill. Characters gain a new skill point every 2 levels. Characters gain normal stamina spells points each level up. For players who want to discover each new skill gradually and be rewarded often for level up, allowing more customization. Or tactics, characters start with 5 known skills. Characters gain a new skill point every 3 levels. So we start off with more, but then we get fewer as we go along, basically. And we get 20% less stamina and spell points each level up. For players who want to start with many known skills to try combos and are willing to sacrifice level up rewards and customization. And the max level is 30. Okay. Well, I'll just go with standard for right now, because, yeah, that sounds good. And let's see. Am I far enough over to really for you guys to see this? I might want to put turtle a little bit further over. Just a little bit further over so you can read most of the chat, most of the thingy. Just a little further. There we go. I'm still covering up like the last word, but you guys can figure out what the last word is, right? If you're just reading instead of listening to me. Inside the monastery, there's only one lit room at this late hour. Just enough light to see the empty pages of a thick book. A hooded monk leans over the desk inside with a quill in hand. I am the monk. I am here to write a tale so epic that I cannot sleep until it is told. So here I write the tales of the Amazon princess, Loren. I start this tale from the very beginning, back in a time when the world was blissfully unaware of the turmoil to come. We begin high in the mountains, deep in a mighty fortress. A sword slices the head of a training dummy clean off, and it falls in pieces around the feet of a tall, raven-haired woman. Every morning the servants would mend the training equipment so that it may be destroyed again by their princess's hand during the next training session. One sword was not enough for this fierce warrior. No, she considered a shield dead weight and an empty hand a death wish. For Princess Loren would only fight with a sword. Oh, so she still keeps the dual handing, so she still dual wields. Okay, cool. Where are the other dummies? And I'm not talking about the slaves. There are none left, my grace. She was displeased to learn that her training would end so early today. She crossed her arms and stared down at her attendant servants. Then perhaps one of you should fetch a sword. The slaves gulped in unison after having witnessed what damage their princess could do. But before anyone could move, the piercing cry of a griffin fell from the skies. Just then a messenger ran into the training grounds, panting for breath. But Princess Loren, the captain, she has returned, alone, Your Majesty. Loren broke into a run. She ran as fast as she could to the main square inside the citadel. The Amazon scouts had landed with their griffins just as she arrived. Oh, hey, it's Breeza, the little girl that we saved from the Namar Castle, remember? Yeah, so she's captain of the guard now. That's what's up. The captain of the guards, Breeza, looked extremely grave as she approached her. Loren knew instantly that the news the scouts carried would not be a routine report. Your Majesty, tell me. A scout stepped forward and placed a hand over her heart in salute. Queen Karen. Oh, fuck. We're starting the game off with Queen Karen dying? Are you for reals right now? Loren's face paled. She disappeared into the night. As of now, we do not know. Okay, so she disappeared. She could still be alive. We just don't know. There's not a trace. We searched high and low, Your Majesty. She is not in Amazon territory. Then we have no choice in this matter. With the Queen lost, Princess Loren must become our new Queen. No, my mother is still alive and still the Queen. She is not dead. You did not find her body. Searching for her must be our top priority. Your Highness, you know that it is against the law to leave the Citadel. Your mother's fate is too uncertain. That is precisely why we must try to find her. I will search for her myself if I have to. Her hard glare challenged anyone to say otherwise. And our first quest is to find Karen. Okay. You just discovered your first quest. Quests give large experience point rewards once completed. To view the quest screen, use the Q key or click the icon that appeared at the top right of the screen. Clicking this icon will also let you access Party Management screen. In the Party Management screen, you can also review and equip each character, check the available skills, manage the party inventory, and of course the chat quest screen. Oh, this is certainly an interesting looking thingy. So these are the skills, I'm guessing. That's the questy thingy. And this is our inventory. Okay, the inventory looks the same. We've already got quite a few potions. Cool. Skills. Warrior. Warriors fight using mainly their strength and dexterity. Able to wear the heaviest armors and wield the heaviest weapons. They are, however, unable to use any magic and lack the flexibility of thieves. Warriors can specialize in various secondary disciplines, which can improve either their attacks or their defenses. Blade Master. Blade Masters are warriors who rely purely on offense. They gladly give up using shields in the offhand to wield one sword in each hand. Being a Blade Master requires much training, however, and only a few warriors in the whole of Ereborn are blessed with this title. Naturally born leaders, Blade Masters have a variety of skills able to defeat their enemies. I'm guessing that we need this skill to get these skills. And we need the skill to get these skills. That would make sense. Increases character's maximum hit points. Increases all enemies' hate towards the warrior by 50 points so that they are more likely to target him or her. Increases damage by 15%. Reduces speed by 10%. Okay. Your Highness, Briza looks conflicted. Your mother appointed me as the enforcer of Amazon law, and I must agree. If you leave the Citadel, you forfeit all support from the Amazons. What? When you abandon the Citadel, you abandon your title. That is what the Great Mothers dictated. Loren took in a deep breath. She would be denied the armory, the military, or even access to the royal treasury. Then so must it be. I will find my mother by myself. Loren! Briza closed her mouth and looked to her side. Majesty. Do not apologize, Commander. You are doing your duty, and the Queen will honor that when she returns. The Amazons may not be able to help you, but we will give you a promising individual who will aid you. The monk pauses for a moment, looking at what was just written before continuing. And that is how it all began. Loren is a powerful fighter, but lacks healing skills. Your playable character has the specialization class Hero that will be very helpful throughout the whole game. Now it is time to choose your character. I'm going to go with female. Okay, so we only have two choices. We have a warrior or a thief. Warriors have lots of hit points, can wear heavy armor, but move slowly and have limited long-range combat skills. Thieves are very quick and can inflict deadly blows to incapacitated targets, but have fewer hit points and cannot wear heavy armor. I'm definitely going warrior, so... Warriors can absorb lots of damage, so they can be positioned in the front row of the battlefield. Being a warrior is easier in the early stages of the game, since you don't have to worry too much about dying. An elf girl. The princess watched as the elf bowed politely. We found her starving and cold. Her allegiance lies completely with the Amazons and with you. I was separated from my tribe by orcs as a child. If it were not for the generous Amazons, I would have died. I will work my hardest every day to repay this debt. In your interest, your highness, she is most talented in healing magic. She can tell me herself. Well, elf, how are you of use to me? I have served you and her majesty dutifully at the Heroes' Quarters, Training Grounds, or Royal Palace. Strength is the primary attribute of warriors, determining with their skill attribute how much damage they do with their skills and attacks, both melee and ranged. Warrior attack power equals strength plus skill divided by 2. For every class, strength influences how many hit points characters get each level up. 5 health for every point, and the stagger threshold, how much damage the character can sustain before becoming staggered. So its strength and skill also has to do with it. So our attack power is both a combination of strength and skill. Skill is the primary attribute of thieves, determining with their strength attribute how much damage they do with their skills and attacks, both melee and ranged. So thief attack power is skill plus half of strength. For every class, skill influences greatly the character's speed and defense values, and slightly the magic values. Will is the primary attribute of mages, determining with their skill attribute how much damage they do with their spells. And mage attack power is will plus skill. So skill is the main one, pretty much. So skill has a certain attribute effect for everybody. It's just skill is only half as effective for warrior and mage. For every class, will influences how many stamina spell points characters get each level up. Magic value, defense value. The magic value measures the character's general resistance to magic attacks. Okay, and I can still use the mouse scroll to scroll up, so we start off with 8, 5, and 8. Clinic as a healer since I was very young. I have spent most of my days in the Citadel tending the wounded and making medicine. You are the one who has cured my sparring partners. They always return to me in superb fighting condition. You are competent in your work, I'll give you that much. She has demonstrated a healing power unlike anything the Citadel has possessed before. Our own medicine women have been to relying almost entirely on her skill. She is the primary healer. Yes, she has eliminated the need for more healers with her speed and efficiency. We are not sure how she learned such magic, as she was neither trained nor born of a mage. How is that possible? We believe that one of her great mothers has kept magic in her blood and guided her to us, perhaps for this very task of protecting you, princess. Okay, so that gives me 2 will. Beyond her healing talent, she is a very distinguished slave on her own. Is that so? Speak to me your accomplishments. I can hold my own in battle. For the last several annual proving competitions, I have been sponsored to enter and have won many titles. I bet if we choose training grounds, it'll up the strength, and Royal Palace, it'll upgrade the skill, probably. I'm curious. Royal Palace as one of your royal guard. She is the only elf under my command, but she has quickly become one of my favorites. That's what I thought. And then yeah, so training grounds is probably strength. So I'll go ahead and do training grounds. As a combat instructor, she began teaching only the younglings, but she was soon instructing even some elders. Raise your face to me. Yes, I do recognize you. You have met my blade before. I have had many pleasures of sparring with your highness. Loren smirked to herself. You are one of the difficult ones. Most do not last that long against me. She shows the lineage of great warriors when she battles others. She has displaced her elder predecessor in the training grounds easily, making her the youngest sparring master in our history. How did you manage such a feat? Speak. I can hold my own in battle. For the For this year's proving, I was granted top place and again, this one probably changes. The arena is probably strength, the target challenge is probably targets and skill, the magic is obviously will. So, I don't know if we're going to have another healer, and it does look like this character can heal. I don't know how to switch to her skills, but if I'm also a healer, it would be a good idea to also get my will equal to strength, maybe. No Amazon could match her will and cleverness. And I get a specific item. Not only has she demonstrated superior fighting ability, but she's extremely loyal. Tell them. But it doesn't show in here. That feels weird. I was allowed the honor of accompanying my mistress to the tavern, where she was disrespected by several rude drunks. They were looking for a fight, so I offered to teach them a lesson. I was able to easily defend my mistress without her even asking. The Amazons were weaklings that fell before my feet. It is true, she respected her mistress deeply, as she will respect you. She did not fail to craft a present for her mistress for the winter solstice. Tell her, what was the last gift you made? I showed my loyalty by giving her a rare book. It was a fortunate find at the marketplace, and I knew my mistress was fond of ancient arcane literature. She revealed to me later that it had taught her much about the ways of magic, and I was able to learn from her. She received the gift very well, and I was praised. I was happy just to give her a small emblem of her great strength and wisdom. Unfortunately, even my mighty mistress was not invincible. She succumbed to a grave illness, and in her last days she called me to her side. She granted me one reward for my service, and I chose leather armor. Her armor has kept me safe and secure. I am sometimes confused for my mistress because it so resembles her. I feel as if she is with me even now. Oh, so the armor also gives skill, okay. Shield, I guess. Her crested shield would be my honor to carry, and her glory would always help protect me from then on. It has saved my life several times since that day. And her loyalty does not end there, Your Highness. Eleanor has demonstrated an act of a true servant of the Citadel. I was approached by another slave. They spoke of fantastic lands and cities, and life from away from the Citadel. I associated with this person to the point that he confided in me a plan to escape. He wished for me to come with him, and I refused but helped to free him. You what? This man spoke hatred words toward the queen, and since I knew the Amazons did not want such a weakling in their service, I helped to get rid of him. I know in my heart that servants of the Citadel all wish to be here, and I do not like to see someone who doesn't. Reported him to authorities? He was a traitor to the queen, and I reported his plotting to the guards. I did not see him again. Eleanor's loyalty is unquestionable. Okay, so that's strength. But we're trying to go even, so we'll go convince. I needed to only explain to him the benefits of staying and how marvelous the Citadel already was. He would have surely been helpless if he left our walls, so I attempted to save his life, and thankfully he listened. Such a skilled tongue will likely be useful to you on your travels. It will be a difficult loss to let go of our most prized slave. However, I will trust you with no one less, my princess. It would be useful to travel with someone like you. Are you willing to risk your life for my cause? My life is yours. I suppose you will be satisfactory. Loren demanded an immediate departure, as leaving could not be too soon with her mother missing. Chapter 1, The Rescue. Select Game Difficulty. Game difficulty will affect enemy strength, the impact of elemental resistances, and other aspects of the game. Okay, double checking here something real quick. There's probably an achievement, or maybe there isn't, for difficulty. I just want to double check, because sometimes there isn't, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. I didn't really look at the achievements yet. I kind of prefer normal, but I may go ahead and try hard. No, there is no so yeah, no, we'll just do normal. There is no difficulty achievement. Okay, we'll just do normal then. This is the default difficulty level. You should be able to win most battles by trying combinations of weapons or heroes. However, the boss battles can, well, they're boss battles, so remember that if you find the game too easy or too hard as you play, you can change the difficulty at any time from the preferences screen. That's usually why there isn't a one. If they have the option to change at any time, that's usually why, because you can change it at any time. Loren instructed Eleanor to take care of any business in the Citadel before they left. You will be able to shop in each town you travel to. At the start, you only have basic equipment and are carrying a few potions. Potions will be very useful in some battles, especially at the hard difficulty level. All items you own will be stored in the party inventory, which you can access by pressing the I key. Okie dokie. Now we can see the thingy. Okay. So what was that magic ring we got just now? Here it is. Ring of Magic. It gives us 5 magic. It does exactly what it says it does. Okay. And then the shield. Okie dokie. The hero is a unique specialization class. It's extremely rare to find people who are able to cast the hero line spells. All the hero spells are aimed to protect, heal, and empower their allies. Thus, it is natural that they are highly sought after by everyone in the realm, since they are among the most valuable members of any party. Maximum hit points, taunt, and power attack. Okay. Oh wait, that's how we do it. That's the warrior skill line. Okay. Restores 25% of the ally's health, but at least 50 health are restored. Okay, so we do have the healing skills. And we do have a resurrection spell. Allies stamina spell points. But we probably can't put that on ourselves, right? Because it costs SP, so it'd be silly to, yeah. Ward, neutralize any negative condition. Okay, so that's the purify one. Dual wield. Offhand weapons inflict 50% damage. Rally, we know rally. Knockdown. And no mercy. Hit enemy for critical hit with 40% chance of weakening target. If enemy has under 50 health and is not a boss, it has a 15% chance of instantly killing him. But in order to do that, the target needs to be what? Weakened? Or confused? It has to be some sort of condition. And both of those, I'm assuming we have to learn both of those in order to learn White Slash, which is the AoE. Okay. I see. Chain leggings, fine boots. Double check that none of these are good for her, or better for her. Yeah, because this tempered sword is better, right? Maybe. Tempered sword. tempered longsword, standard short sword. Okay, so it compares if we hover it over. That has less crit hit and everything else is the same. Tempered longsword versus tempered sword. Standard short sword. Yeah, that's one we need to replace. Right? So why is it saying it's better? Or maybe it's just saying it's better for me? Because compared to the standard, the tempered longsword, it's worse. And compared to the tempered sword, it's worse. I'm guessing that's probably just the alternate weapon, so we might sell that. Okay, so that's got slightly better defense and threshold, whatever threshold is, at the cost of 1 speed. Okay, and the green thing is, okay, so that's fine, chainmail, that's chainmail. So the fact that it's green probably just means it's better for me and for somebody in general, which is awkward. Because if I'm on her page, I want it to be better for her. And that's definitely not better because that's less defense. And that's the exact same thing, the leather shawl. I'll go ahead and do that. Better defense is probably better, right? And they've got the same chain leggings. Yeah, because she's got the plate helm, which is a lot more defense at the cost of speed. So that probably means the boots are better. Didn't she just have those boots on? Why is it suddenly saying she can't equip them? That feels a little weird. The leather bracers are the same. Chainmail is a little worse. Okay. And now we don't have any boots because nobody can equip the boots, but we just had the boots on, didn't we? That feels weird. Okay, sure. Shop. And we probably, oh, we do have money? No, that's the vendor's money. We have 100 money. Okay. Can we actually buy anything? Okay, so if it's on the character portrait, then it does change it in the shop. First things first, we should probably buy me some boots. Chain boots, that's 90, we could do that. Sandals of the mercenary, interesting, but we can't equip it because it's red, right? Okay, but the question would be, is these better than this? It is. Better defense and better threshold. So we'll give her the chain boots and I can equip the leather boots again. And we probably don't have enough to buy anything else. I can't imagine anything else here is... It doesn't have the icon that says that whether or not we can buy it either. Okay, and if we hover over something that's green, it shows us if it's better for 2 people. That is good. I like that. Let's see, that's 33, that's 38, so we don't have the money to do any of that. And we probably don't have enough here. Oh, we can get a standard curved dagger, which it says is better. We lose a little bit of damage, but we gain crit hit, defense, and speed. We could also just get standard short sword, which I already have, so why is it saying it's better for me? Because it's not. That's weird, right? So why is it saying it's better? Because that's what I've currently got on. Unless it wants me to dual wield it, which I could see that happening, but I would have to get rid of the sword, the shield, right? Trying to figure out which one would be better overall. Maybe the curved dagger? That's starting to push how much we have. Maybe the standard longsword? We don't have enough for the standard broadsword. That's what she's got on. No, she's got tempered longsword, not a standard longsword. The difference being 3 less damage and 1 less speed. And that's not better than the standard longsword. That's not better than the tempered sword. The only thing is we gain 1% crit hit and we lose speed. But it's better than... Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure about this screen quite yet. Like, what's it even comparing that to, right? Because we only have 1 weapon, but she has 2 weapons. So which one is that comparing it to, right? And why does it say it's better? It does look quite a lot less damage. -8, 14. Okay, so it doesn't really tell me. This one has 2 crit hit, so whichever one is the 2 crit hit. Okay, so it's comparing it to the 1% crit hit, which is... Okay, so it's comparing it to the first weapon. So what I need to do is put the weakest weapon here. So it's a proper comparison. That's what we need to do, okay. Yeah, because that's better crit hit and defense, but the damage is quite a bit less. And this is just not as good, period. Again, crit hit, but no. It does have quite a few other stats, but the damage and attack is lower. That's only 1 lower, but we do get an attack. And she doesn't do two-handed. I can do two-handed, but... Now I don't think... Yeah, we don't have enough for these anyways. I could get a standard broadsword for her, for me. That would be a little bit better. Probably, right? I am kind of thinking of going ahead and doing dual wielding, but if I'm going to be a hero as well, we probably need a shield for defense. Okay. That's probably the best we can do right now. Eleanor and Loren walked up to Commander Breeza. You remain, Your Highness? Have you considered reclaiming the title of Queen? Absolutely not. I am preparing for my journey. I do not know how long I will be gone, but my hope is for not very. Of course. You seem suspiciously eager to forget Queen Karen. How dare you? You are a slave. You speak when you are spoken to. Silence. She is speaking in my interest. I am surprised in you too. This is your queen you are dismissing so easily. Do not forget that she will return and will hear of your actions to rescue her. Yes, your majesty. I only mean to enforce Amazon traditions, not to dishonor Karen. Queen Karen. Breeza gulped and corrected herself, shooting a sharp look towards Eleanor. Moments earlier, Breeza had been singing her praises, but now there was an uncomfortable air between them. Oh my, oh my. Any news on my mother? Has she returned? Not yet, your highness. I'm sorry. Loren frowned and took in a deep breath. Okay, so it does repeat after a minute. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and leave. Review your party setup before leaving. We're both on the front row, so there are front and back rows. Okay, interesting. Upon seeing Eleanor approach the front gates, Loren demanded an immediate departure. They would leave the security of the citadel and cross the plains of Aragorn to search for her mother, no matter how long it took to find her. The first place to visit was the town of Grimoire and the human empire. Eleanor's first goal was to reach the city of Grimoire, the capital of the human empire, but it was a dangerous road, plagued by goblins and bandits. When they arrived, however, they would be able to begin their investigation. Loren and her ally were walking down a road in the middle of the plains en route to the town of Grimoire. Even though Loren was quiet, Eleanor knew that she was thinking only of saving her mother. The only clue we have is that my mother's cards have disappeared as well. If we find them, then we find my mother. That is a good plan, your highness. Their relationship was as one might expect between a servant and loyalty. Eleanor quietly followed the princess and would only praise and agree with her when given the chance to speak. She was used to being less formal, but then she had never served loyalty before. Loren noticed nothing about this behavior because she was quite used to it. This is the only way out from the citadel, so the queen must have passed by here. It would be very helpful if there were any witnesses to unusual activity, but, your highness, may I ask a question? Loren glanced at her with a frown. This was the first time she had dared to speak out of turn. If you must, but I cannot promise that I will answer. Why aren't we using a griffin to travel now? They're faster than walking, and much safer. You fool! Aren't you aware of the laws of my people? Eleanor took a step back, fearful for her life. For the most part, yes. My choice to leave the citadel took away my privileges. The griffins are not allowed to me. Couldn't you change the laws? As queen, but I am not queen. My mother is. I see. I'm sorry that I asked, your highness. Now you know. Don't forget it. I guarantee that I shall not, your highness. They traveled mostly quiet throughout the day until it faded to night. The land ran flat with sparse boulders along the path. This looks like a good place to camp. Loren, however, did not stop walking and continued on without a word. Your highness, keep up. Eleanor sprang up from the ground where she was about to start a fire and hurried after her. Loren seemed prepared to travel a lot further that night. Eleanor steeled herself for a very long walk, but she found it more and more difficult to keep her position behind Loren. She was beginning to walk much slower. Loren's feet were dragging against the ground, rather than proudly stomping ahead like earlier in the day. Eleanor knew that Princess Loren was tired. We should stop for the night and make camp. My mother is out there waiting for someone to save her. That someone is me. Loren was not going to stop for even a moment until Queen Karen was recovered. It was now Eleanor's job to keep her from sabotaging herself with her own determination. By the way you're swerving all around, you either have a hidden bottle of wine or you're tired. Loren halted and spun around. What did you say to me? Eleanor knew then that her life was over. She was used to speaking freely with her previous mistress, and her tongue got away from her. She doesn't actually kill her, does she? I'm sorry, Princess. What I meant to say is that I am too exhausted to continue. Loren shifted her weight and put her hands on her hips. You? Yes. Yeah, I'm a big snorer. I hope that's not a problem. Loren evaluated her, though only superficially. Deep down, she was more tired than Eleanor. I had thought you stronger than this. Loren pushed past her and into the bushy grass. She sat down cross-legged, her back straight and her arms resting on each knee, just like Amazon royalty. Lie down, elf. I will only give you a few hours. Do not waste them. Okay. You will be of no use to your mother, running on no sleep. Loren halted and spun around. What did you say to me? So same thing there. Save her. You will get yourself killed if you are not careful. You must rest. Loren halted and spun around. What did you say to me? Okay, so it leads to the same thing. Um, I'll go with joking. Joking's a good one. Getting Loren to stop was enough for Eleanor, and she decided not to waste her mistress's generosity. She promptly walked over and laid in the grass next to her, but not too close. Eleanor woke a few hours later to Loren calling her. She did not see Loren sleep a wink. However, Loren's speed and alertness had improved, letting her know that she might have rested after all. I have seen no population since we left. I was told the Grimoire settlement was on this route. Where is it? Is it past that mountain? Which mountain, mistress? You see, before us. You've instructed me to walk straight for it. Princess, that is not a mountain. It is the city of Grimoire. Loren stopped once again to turn to her servant. That is not a city. It is too large. It is a large walled city, like the citadel. Amazons? Loren reached for her sword, bristling at the thought of a competing tribe so close to her home. No, Grimoire is the capital of the Empire, the nation of men. Put that thing away. You might hurt somebody with that. Loren looked at her blade, frowned, and slid it back into its sheath. Others can build cities as great as the citadel. Are you sure of what you speak? Yes, castles can be constructed by any nation with the proper materials. You didn't know that? Loren winced from the insinuation that she was not well educated. I know that the Amazons are superior to all other nations, so the citadel is superior to all other castles. Yes, your grace. Eleanor learned just how sheltered Loren truly was. Even her former mistress knew all about the outside world, but then she was allowed to travel outside of the citadel's walls. Loren was not. She knew then that she would have to take better care of her princess than she anticipated. You are now being taken to the world map. Locations will appear as they're discovered in the storyline. Sometimes when you travel to a city, you will encounter a random battle. These battles are optional, unlike the battles that are triggered by the storyline. You can also access the camp button on the map. It will take you to your group's campsite so that you may speak with your party members. Getting to know each character is important to the game and may even lead to romance. See what you can find. In this screen, you can talk to your party members. The available dialogue options change based on the main plot. Talking is completely optional, but can unlock romance options or extra quests. Eleanor approached Loren tentatively. She looked deep in thought, and it was probably dangerous to disturb her. Nonetheless, she spoke up. Your Highness. Fortunately, Loren gave her a slight nod of acknowledgement, but nothing more. Forgive me for asking, but I do not know much of the situation. Perhaps if you told me more, I could assist you better. What more is there to know? My mother is missing. Yes, but what was the Queen doing to have gone missing? When was the last time you saw her? Loren raised her chin while her eyes blinked rapidly. I can't tell you much of anything. I wish I could, but I can't. My mother was an immensely private person. But you are asking for the facts, and the facts are that mother, the Queen, was not in her bedchamber one morning, and we have not seen her since. And the scouts? Were you not there? They could not find her. Even though they could track a sparrow through the forest, they could not find their own queen. Loren looked away. Eleanor was uneasy in the ensuing silence. But we will succeed where the scouts have failed. Absolutely. The conversation brought hope to her. She uttered a sigh. I already knew that. Yes, your grace. Mistress, what can you tell me of the citadel? Being the princess, you must hold much more knowledge of it than I. Loren crossed her arms. Of course I do. The citadel was built stone by stone by the Great Mothers. We were once able to defend our land without it, but fools kept testing the strength of the Amazons, and so our walls were built. In our fortress we are invincible. The walls of the citadel are impenetrable and always well defended. It's held off invasions by every ragtag banner known. You would think some militants would learn to avoid us, but the stability of our mighty home will likely continue to be tested. Such is the way of the world. I sometimes wonder why Mother doesn't send the scouts upon all other empires and conquer them all. Probably because that would be a very bad idea. That shows what you know. Put aside the plausibility and ethical complications. You would probably just end up wiping out the Amazons rather than conquering Aragorn. Those words could be considered treason. What? Why? It's just the facts. Amazons are just a small population in a big world. That means nothing. Well, yes, I hope for my own sake that the Amazons win, but I wouldn't bet money on it. That's all. You are dismissed. Eleanor smiled at her, but she did not smile back. So isn't different? Like, do we get something out of being specifically? Do you really think the Amazons could take over the entire world? Why not? Well, I believe they are outnumbered for one. One of our warriors could take on 1,000 of whatever excuse for a warrior anyone else has. I think you would be surprised. I don't think so. A wise ruler would think. Loren snapped her mouth shut and looked away. We are done with the history lesson. Yeah, it doesn't seem to change anything, or it's just not popping up. I really hope that's not the case, but the Amazons would sweep the world in one swift strike. Yes, it would be marvelous. Sometimes I thirst for such battle. Yes, the pounding of your heart, the smell of blood. They both shared a smile. It is an art, not a subtle one, but it is art. So I don't know if okay, so I'm assuming it'll show up because it's got this screen here. But it doesn't seem to be changing. So I'll go with joking because that's kind of my default for right now, but I don't know. Your Majesty, if I may ask, now that we are traveling together, I would like to know what you expect of me. What kind of question is this? Everything I need you for. That is what a servant does. I I see. I am still your princess, even though I have left the citadel. Yes, I was not doubting that at all, ma'am. I only have ever seen the field of the training grounds. never the inside of the palace walls. I do not know how to serve your kind. All my slaves stood 5 paces away from me at all times, and they did not look me in the eyes. Eleanor immediately averted her eyes and took several steps away. Loren evaluated her. No, that looks odd when there's only one of you. You may stand closer. Eleanor shuffled back. Behind me, when I am not addressing you. Yes, thank you, mistress. It was a small victory for her to be allowed more intimacy with Loren. Perhaps when they came to know each other more, Eleanor could stand with respect next to her. We should break camp soon. There is much to be done. Okay, so that's the ending thinking. Okay. And we can still go to the Citadel, even though we're kind of not allowed. I mean, we're kind of banned. I don't know. Okay, that hasn't changed yet, so interesting. As they approached Grimoire, the path cut through a wooded area. Loren stopped abruptly and held her arm out to stop Eleanor. Her expression was serious and her voice low. Something isn't right here. They looked around, examining the area for anything out of the ordinary, and then they saw it. Someone was strung up by their feet from a tree limb, head down, with a bag covering their body. The bag writhed. They were still alive. Please, help me. Loren and Eleanor rushed toward the person, but several little screeching creatures sprang down from the tree. Goblins. Fear shot through Eleanor as she realized that a battle was now upon them, and that Princess Loren had never fought outside of training. It was up to her to protect the princess. Watch yourself. Same to you. Loren drew her 2 swords swiftly and hurried to engage the enemies. You do not have to give me any instruction. Eleanor was surprised to see how swiftly Loren moved as she fought. She started with a vertical slash that moved so quickly that her blade looked like a solid arc of silver. The goblin collapsed to the ground in a bloody mess as she lifted her other sword in a horizontal slash to behead another goblin. She danced between the enemies and evaded their attempts and counterattacked with ease. Eleanor looked surprised to see how beautifully deadly all of her movements were. Loren impaled another goblin through the heart in one quick stab, retracting her blade and flickering the blood off the metal with casual ease. She didn't have to stop to catch her breath, nor did she break a sweat in the short battle. You are about to select your party formation. Right now you only have 2 party members, but later in the game you can have up to 6. Prepare yourself for the first fight. Oh, now this is interesting. Very different from the first game. Attack by clicking on any portraits or click ally portraits for friendly actions. Hover on the portraits to see detailed information on the left of the panel. To repeat the last action performed, simply click twice on the portrait. Okie dokie. Goblin warrior, goblin thief. Okay, let's do this. Eleanor hurried to keep up with her, but the fight was over quickly. Loren kept her swords in hand as she approached the stranger and cut the restraining rope. Eleanor grimaced, but found some amusement at Loren's obvious lack of concern for the person. The person tumbled down from the tree, groaned, and then squirmed out of the bag covering him. A lithe blond man stood up and brushed the dirt from himself. Ow! The ground hurts quite a bit, actually. Who are you? Even though the man's ears were tucked neatly behind his hair, Eleanor noticed them sticking out from his disturbed locks. They were pointed. You are half elf, aren't you? You can tell. No fooling you guys, I guess. Yes, I am the half-breedy type. Half-elf. Is that a problem? No, why would it be? He swiftly took Eleanor's hands and shook them gratefully. That's great. My name is Draco, but what shall I call this lovely flower? Enough of your nonsense. Loren waved her weapons as if he were as much of a threat as the goblins. Was it simply because he was a man, or had her isolation at the Citadel turned her paranoid? Now, don't get upset. I'm just playing around. Identify yourself. Now. Your Highness, he just said. I'm surprised you haven't heard of me. I'm the all-powerful, famous master fire magician. He suddenly waved his fingers in front of him and created a brief fireball. He made a sound effect to accompany it and laughed. But his laughter was cut short when Loren kicked him straight in the chest and hurled him back towards the ground. It was just a demonstration. I mean no harm, honestly. Your Grace, I believe he won't hurt us. Loren slowly pulled her sword away from Draco's throat and stood straight. You're right, because he is too incompetent to do any damage. Incompetent? That's not fair. I'm actually really good with magic. All kinds, but fire is my favorite. My last name is Firestarter, after all. Oh, then how did you get captured so easily by a small group of little goblins, if you're so powerful? It was a different group, a bigger group. Goblins as tall as trees. Yes, trees. Eleanor tried not to giggle in front of her mistress, for Loren would surely punish her. That's a very convenient excuse. It was. They were accompanied by a very powerful goblin shaman. I couldn't hold out against them all on my own, and the shaman was as big as 2 trees. Draco blinked once and then burst out laughing, and Eleanor joined him. Yes, exactly. Silence. And then they were silent. You let your guard down, no matter how tall the goblin. That's unacceptable. I'm more useful than you may think, lady. Perhaps you would be interested in my services. I wouldn't charge much. No, we are not interested. Draco looked disappointed at her blunt response. Not even if I throw in an especially beautiful lady discount. Loren ignored him and walked away. Is your loss then? Bye, I suppose. They walked away from the disappointed magician. Eleanor spoke quietly to Loren once they were out of earshot. I'm sure that won't be the last time we see that man. Unfortunately. Oh my. And we did get some money there, didn't we? We got 83. Maybe we can get better weapons now? Let's see. It'll be a lot easier to see if I can get a better weapon. Well, no. Let's do her first. Okay, we're not interested in the two-handed. She can't even equip the two-handed. But she can equip the two-handed Axe of Fury. That is interesting. The best one would be... That's two-handed. I kind of don't want to do two-handed for her. I want double dual-wielding. Interesting that she also can't do the Rapture. Okay, so that's two-handed. That's two-handed. That's a club, one-handed, two-handed. Two-handed, one-handed. So she can do the axe, though. And that's 16 damage. We do lose a bit of attack and speed. But it looks like the axe may be the best one. And that's 75, so we do have enough for one axe if we wanted to. I don't know if these change. They probably don't change like the first game. So we'll buy an axe and equip it directly. Then we'll probably put the tempered sword. No. Because we've got to keep the beast capable one in the front, right? Right. Because the tempered sword is not as good as the tempered long sword. Because it's the weakest. That looks right. Yeah, because the hand axe is slightly better. It's one less attack and two less speed, but yeah. Okay, so should I equip the tempered sword? Probably. We get one more attack, one more damage. We lose one attack and 3 crit hit, but we get some speed. At least until we get better axe, until we get everybody an axe. So sell the standard broadsword. And yeah, at least for me, because Club Rapture and Flail of Sakura. Actually, no, I may get the Flail of Sakura for myself. Since I can equip it, it's 18 damage and this is 16. But we'll focus first on getting another hand axe for Loren, which is another 75. Okay, Grimoire. And now we've made it to Grimoire. And we leveled up. Okay, attribute points 3. So first things first, we're going to even up the wheel. But we're probably going to put all of Loren's points into strength. Probably. Probably. Okay. So she's already got dual wield, is that what it's saying? The golden is what we've already got. So this is just increases all enemies' hate towards the warrior. Pushes a staggered enemy to the back row and has 40% chance to cause a scared condition. Greater chance of enemy's stagger value has a 40 chance of inflicting confusion. That's an active. The main one I think I'm most resist here on this warrior is the toughness, honestly. And the dual wield. Okay. And then for me, we're trying to even up the strength and will because we're not only attacking, we're also the healers. So, and for me, we want to focus on getting the healing spells up the first. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, we have 3 points, so yeah, okay. They arrived in Grimoire. Elnor was able to get them past the gate guard without any trouble. Just a warning to keep all weapons away. The open market in the town square was bustling with activity. So, this is all the human empire can show for their capital. It smells just as charming, too. The sooner we find my mother, the sooner we may wash this stench from us. Come, we need to find out what these settlers know. Loren wants to search all over Grimoire for clues, and Elnor will have a chance to react at each location. This is a chance to build your character's personality. Every time you select a choice between joking, friendly, or forceful answers, you influence Eleanor's attitude. To end your search, go to the tavern. Loren wished to appeal to the strongest people in the city, and the grand arena in the heart of Grimoire attracted her immediately. So, this is their training grounds. It is odd looking, almost like a temple. It looks as if it is suited to seat an audience, perhaps for approving. We should be able to find the most influential people here. Eleanor hoped this would be true, but not every culture revered warriors like the Amazons. Loren walked straight into the open pit without trouble, looking very much like she belonged there. Gladiators were training loudly before them, and a few spectators were seated in the stands. Where are all the women? Are you a new recruit? I wasn't told about you. A grizzled old man eyed Loren up and down, making her uncomfortable. Behind him was a large gladiator, resting against his sword. Bring me your mightiest warrior. The gladiator raised his chin. You're looking at him. Why? We need a favor in the search for my mistress's mother. The War Master and the gladiator both turned to see Eleanor for the first time. They gawked at Eleanor, reaching for their weapons. An elf. How did you get into the city? How did you get into the city? We don't need any more fighters, so you can go back to wherever you crawled out from. Eleanor blinked at the bile that her existence had stirred in them. She could barely comprehend it. Fortunately, Loren stepped in between them to shield her. She is a servant of the Amazons. Servant, we're done here. Loren whipped away from the men, and Eleanor rushed after her. The Empire's warriors were not at all what they had hoped. They walked through the stalls of the market. Loren flinched and recoiled at everything that was hurrying past her. Her patience disappeared. She stomped her foot and shouted at the top of her lungs. Enough! I am Loren of Amazons. I am on a search for my mother. The whole of the marketplace turned to gawk at her, and then they continued with what they were doing, completely uninterested. Loren was stunned, having never been ignored in her life. Eleanor was worried that she would take it personally and become angry, and so she swooped in to disrupt her thoughts. Let us ask one of the vendors personally. Maybe they have seen our queen. Loren's lips pressed tightly together as she reluctantly walked up to a fruit stall. I am Princess Loren, my mother, the queen of the Amazons. Fresh apples, apples, good fruit for you. The salesman picked up a bright red fruit that neither of them had seen before and shoved it into Loren's hand. Her eyes went large from being handled like a commoner. 1 apple or 2 apples? Loren, however, was too offended to respond. 2 apples for the big woman. 2 apples, 6 gold. For what it's worth, I don't think you're a big woman. Loren glared at her as if she was even more insulted. Or, I do. Very big woman. The biggest, strong woman. Breeza will pay for you. Will pay for attaching you to me. Loren dropped the apple without care for it. We're leaving. Yes, ma'am. The princess would not subject herself to the horror of the marketplace again. They opted to ask officials rather than the public. When they walked up to the guard post, the soldiers' chatter was quickly silenced. Loren merely stood, her legs spread and her arms crossed, and not a man was taller than her. No one spoke for a very long moment. This must be the sound of pure astonishment and wonder. You're welcome, boys. Who are you and why are you here? I am Princess Loren of the Amazons. My mother is the Queen of the Amazons. You, you're a princess? My mother has gone missing, and she is believed to have traveled through your lands. The Amazons really exist. I thought my parents made them up to scare me. Have you seen my mother? Tell me where she is. So there really is a group of women in the mountains that enslave men. All the guards went deadly serious, their looks turning heated. I am not ashamed of my culture. So, it's true. The guards broke out in insults, demanding they get out of their sight and that they were not welcome in Grimoire. Eleanor pleaded with Loren not to kill them, so that they would not earn the ire of the Empire, or else they would never find her mother. Their search was not going well. The highest place of authority was naturally the next step in their search. They walked right up to the castle and were able to step inside the grand hall, which was open to the public. They were not allowed any further, however. A group of guards and a royal vassal were blocking the entrance to the inner cloister. Many peasants were already pleading with the vassal to gain entry. Please, my family is starving. You must let me in. The council was in session and will hear no one. Be gone. Loren pushed past everyone with ease and stood at the front of the mob. The vassal took a step back just to take her in. The guards went tense from how threatening she looked. I am Loren of the Amazons. I have come to speak with your queen. Queen? What queen? The Empire has no queen. Loren closed her eyes briefly as if pained her. Then your king. Are you joking? We have a council that governs the Empire, not a king or queen. Then tell your council that I seek an audience with her. Ma'am. The vassal laughed at Loren, instantly enraging her. Her jaw clenched, but she restrained herself. She may be a princess, but she's mastered 200 different ways of killing a man, and it only takes one to do the job. Right, she's a princess, I'm a forest nymph. You're the 6th princess who's tried to get inside today, lady. I will not ask you again. Tell your council that Loren of the Amazons demands an audience. The guards raised their weapons, ready to eject Loren from the premises. Mistress, let's not get thrown out of the city, or worse, in jail. You'll not get away with this. When my mother is restored to the throne, she will punish you. The vassal did not seem worried, though Eleanor knew that he definitely should be. Their search for information was more difficult than they had anticipated. Their investigation had only brought them trouble and suspicion among the locals. Worse, Loren was not earning any favor for being an Amazon princess. She confided in Eleanor that if her title was not to be honored, then she would refrain from invoking it. She was willing to put her pride aside for the sake of her mother. By the time they reached a tavern, the sun was starting to set. Fearful of getting the same treatment that she received everywhere else, Loren held back and waited for Eleanor to turn to her. It is late, and we have learned nothing new. What do we do now? Eleanor was surprised at first, not understanding why royalty would ask a mere servant for advice. Then she remembered it was the first time that Loren had been outside of the Amazon citadel. We should get some rest and try again tomorrow. We should be able to get a room here. I believe this is an inn. Is it really safe for us to do that in a place like this? I'll guard you vigilantly tonight, Your Highness. Everything will be fine. Very wise of you. Of course, Your Highness. Eleanor led Loren to the bar across the room, distantly guessing that she was innocent to the fact that they would be sleeping in the same room. Loren walked over to the counter with a confident stride. Give me a room. The bartender ignored her and continued what he was doing. Did he not hear me? Maybe not. You, give me one of your rooms. Loren raised her voice when she spoke. but the owner still ignored her. Acknowledge my presence, you uneducated lout. Let me try, your highness. Sir, may we please rent one of your rooms for tonight? Nothing. These humans are animals. The bartender scoffed. Loren's patience was gone. She reached across the bar and grabbed the owner by his tunic, yanking him clear off the ground. In the citadel, guards, guards! Some guards who were standing in the corner hurried forward to apprehend them. Draco suddenly appeared out of the crowd and hurried to the side of Loren and Eleanor. Be gone, weakling. No need to thank me. The half-elf magician whipped up a bright hot wall of fire, sending everyone further into panic. The fire did not burn anything, but it was too hot, keeping the guards at bay. You followed us. Of course I did. Loren drew her swords. I spared your life once. Don't get in my way again. Don't kill anyone. We don't want trouble with the Empire. Yes, what she said. I'm too handsome to die. Loren growled and ran straight through the wall of fire. Draco and Eleanor could only hear her fight off the guards. She shouldn't be able to do that. Eleanor shook her head and ran through the fire as well to help her mistress. Draco chuckled at how little his magic daunted these two travelers. Not like most folk, are you? Draco will now fight at your side. He is a mage and has very useful AoE spells. The guards are resistant to normal physical damage, but weak against fire. Use Draco's fireball wisely.
I hope this is slightly uncomfortable. I hope this is slightly uncomfortable.
Loren kicked the last guard, sending him to the floor where the rest of the guards were groaning in pain. The fight and the fire died down, and an empty tavern was all that was left. Loren wiped the blood from her face and stalked back over to the bartender. Where were we? Be gone, you filth. I'll only call more guards. Before Loren could respond, a bag of gold suddenly dropped onto the bar top in front of them. Everyone looked over to see a stout girl sitting at the bar with her hand on her hip. Oh, just give the silly people their room, Gunther. Stick to your own business, little girl. Little girl. Little girl. She stood straight up on the bar and stomped over to the party, kicking mugs and plates off the top as she did. Her small stature told them immediately that she was a female dwarf, not a young woman. You take that back or I'll be taking my bag of gold back. Everyone stared at her. Even at her size, she looked deadly and dangerous. And if she had bags of gold to throw away, she was probably someone of great importance. That's... The dwarf woman suddenly smiled and laughed. I'm just joking with ya. Being little is my best quality. Fit in small places and never be found for days. My name's Dora, Dora the Explorer, by the way, and this is Gunther. Say hi to Gunther. The bartender mumbled and took the money and exchanged it for a room key. Dora, that's a lovely name for a dwarf. I'm Draco Firestarter, and yes, Draco reached up to shake the dwarf's hand, but Loren quickly slapped his arm away. What do you expect in return for your gold? Why are you helping us? Because you're different. You mean strangers? No, silly. I mean you're really tall and angry looking. You're an Amazon, right? And you're an elf, aren't you? An Amazon? That explains the tallness and the angriness. I'm a dwarf, so I'm different too. Here's a tip for you, since you're obviously new round here. Money always makes you new friends. Thank you for your advice. You're very welcome, miss. Would you perhaps be interested in sticking together? I need all the allies I can get. Eleanor blinked in surprise at Loren, but Draco frowned immediately. We're in the process of conducting a rather lengthy search. Would you like to accompany me? A trip? I don't know about that. I can't afford to just leave my job here. There will be a substantial reward upon completion. I am Princess Loren of the Amazons. The dwarf's eyes lit up. A princess. Now this sounds very interesting. I've always been a bit of an adventurer, you see. New party member, Dora the Thief. And for the last time since Eleanor had known her, Loren smiled. I'm glad to hear that. We would love to have you come along with us. Why did she get a formal invitation where I got a pointy sword to the throat? Loren's demeanor changed when the man approached her with a scowl on his face. I'm a magician, and I have amazing skills. Look. He sent fireworks shooting out of his hand. Knock that off. Sorry. You're so persistent. Loren turned to Eleanor to ask her next question. What do you think we should do? Well, in the worst case scenario, he'll become another good slave for the Amazons. Loren laughed at her comment before returning to being deadly serious. That is a very good point. She returned to Draco, her expression as impassive as it always was when she dealt with men. You may join our group if you are so determined. Stars and moons, my wishes have been granted. Calm down. Yes, your almighty Amazon princess ship. Loren sighed in exasperation. Eleanor was simply amused. The newly expanded group ended up booking 3 rooms from the cranky owner. Draco and Dora each took their own room, while Loren and Eleanor shared a room. They had both settled down when Loren started to undress from her light armor. She stopped before she removed her top when she noticed that Eleanor was watching. Eleanor couldn't help but stare at the princess's body. She looked perfect in countless ways. Her body was strong, but she was still always elegant, and everything about her had a sense of confidence and loveliness. She was the exact kind of woman she wanted to be more like. She was strong more than just physically. There was no questioning that she was psychologically strong as well, for only a person with great strength of heart would venture onward in search of her mother after such an important person was reported missing. Eleanor looked away before the Amazon said anything. You're a very admirable person, Your Highness. Thank you. I'm sure you have many admirers back at the Citadel. I do, but most of them aren't even worth my time. I see. There are just too many reasons why the only real use for men is to procreate. It's just a shame that more races do not agree with this principle. The world would be a much better, much more peaceful place if they did. Don't you agree? You're probably right. Probably. I mean, you're most certainly correct, Your Majesty. The sun disappeared beneath the horizon, and the room became completely dark as night came. While the conversation could have gone better, that was the moment when Eleanor realized just how special Loren was. She was beautiful, deadly on the field of battle, and later in this tale, the one to make the most difficult decision. Eleanor woke up with a start when she heard several suspicious noises and saw that Loren was already awake, hurriedly getting dressed in her armor. Get ready to fight. What? Right now? While she sounded surprised, she was already getting ready for the conflict also. We've got trouble brewing. It's probably an assassination attempt. You should have woken up before me if you wanted to earn any respect. Before she had the chance to respond, the glass of the window shattered as several thugs came piling in. You have no business here. The thugs didn't respond as they reached for their weapons and started to approach ominously. State your names. Despite her stentorian orders, they did not respond. Loren drew her sword without further hesitation and hurried towards the first of the thugs. Be careful. After this battle, the party won't have enough time to heal automatically, so you'll start the next one in the conditions you end this one. It is recommended that you save your game now. Review your party setup before proceeding.
Imbeciles everywhere I go.
After the first wave is finished, Draco and Dora burst into the room. Princess Loren, Eleanor, what's all the ruckus? We heard noises and came as quickly as we could. You're a bit late, actually. There wasn't enough time for their conversation to continue, though. A new group of enemies started to materialize before them. Their forms seemed to solidify before their very eyes. Eleanor tensed instinctively, knowing that there was sorcery at play. The adversaries that had materialized were none other than a few goblins and a giant hulking overlord. It's Grob, the goblin shaman who captured him. Yes, be careful. His magic is very powerful, not even 1 tree tall. Magic schmagic. We can handle a few greenies by ourselves. Dora pulled out a short bow and an arrow. Indeed.
I hope this is slightly uncomfortable.
Okay, Thieves are a deadly class when used together with mages. They are average fighters, and while some can cast some magic, they are not as powerful as mages. However, they are masters of incapacitating opponents and taking advantage of any existing target's conditions. In fact, all Thieves' specialization skills take advantage of an existing condition to deliver an often deadly blow to the enemy. Flaming Torch critically hits a single weakened, scarred, slowed, or confused target with 130% damage and 40% chance of causing burning. But they have to already have a condition on them, looks like. Ice Blast critically hits a target, single, weakened, scarred, scared, slowed, or confused target with 130 damage and 40 chance for causing the frozen condition. So same thing as Flaming Torch, but ice. Backstab. 130 damage and chance of causing shatter. Choke. Okay, so it's basically either tired, shattered, frozen, or burned is what the difference is here. But all of them require them to be already weakened, scared, slowed, or confused in order to even do it. And Poison Dagger is poison. But in order to even unlock poison, we have to already have fire and ice. Which indicates to me maybe poison is the best one, but hunters are masters of attack from a distance. While they can fight using small weapons at close range, their real strength is attacks from afar. The bow and arrows are the hunter's best friends, and they can use the camouflage skill to hide and then strike their opponents while using a wide range of attacks. Increases a character's defense value by 15%. Hits single staggered target with 125% normal damage and causes paralyzed. And staggered is something that seems to happen eventually anyways, but it's not one that is here. That being said, paralyzed condition, no, that's not one that would do that either. Sneak attack hits single staggered target for 110 and 110 accuracy with 30 chance of causing scared. Okay, that is one I do believe. So in order to use any of these abilities, we would have to do a sneak attack. And we can only do a sneak attack on a staggered target. Interesting. Hits single target for damage and enemies around him take half damage. Hits single burned, frozen, tired, shattered, or poisoned for 40 of target's actual health, if not loss. So that could be a way to quickly get rid of small enemies. But essentially we would have to do a sneak attack, and then one of these, and then that. So one would think by the time we get all that they would at least be down 60% health. So that could be like the finishing touch or something, maybe. How do I want to play the thief? Well, we pretty much have to get this one in order to get any of these. Right, so... yeah. Okay. And she is a thief, so we want her mainly with the skill icon. That said, if she's going to use a bunch of skills that cost SP, we might also want her to get her will up. But we might just do 2 to 1. That might be what we do. For every 2 points we put in this one, we'll put in this one. Which means this one, it'll be double what this one is. So right now it's 3 to 1, more or less. we do need to up this a little bit more to 8. And now it's 2 to 1. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, Draco. Mages fight using their intelligence, wisdom, and of course their magical powers. They are limited to wearing only cloth armor and cannot use most weapons except for daggers and staves. In the battlefield, they are usually relegated to the back row because of their low health and defense. Their spells, however, affect a larger area, damaging several opponents at once. Mages have a very wide range of specializations, ranging from druid to necromancer, making a mage the most versatile class. And he already knows Fireball, which we've been having fun with. That being said, Draco could actually help with it, with crit shot a little bit, couldn't he? 300 base attack, 10% chance of burning, and 50% on the sides. Blizzard, 300, 10%, 50, so it's the same thing, it's just ice. And it's all the same thing, it's just a different element, isn't it? Tornado, which is tired, Earthquake, which is shattered. Phantom form, transform target into a half-incorporeal being, transforming defense, increasing defense by 50 and speed by 10. Elementalist. Elementalists are mages who specialize in elemental spells. They can control fire, water, earth, air, magic, and use those elements to cast area of damage spells on their enemies. The only magical that they cannot control is dark. Okay, so concentration increases characters' maximum spell points, increases characters' spell skill points regeneration by 100%. So we would have to remember to use that before we run out of SP, because that costs at 5, but we can do that. And he also has a cure spell. Tranquilize decreases enemy anger value by 33 points to prevent an overdrive. Increases target speed. So let's go with concentration first. And I might go ahead and start leveling up the fireball, or I'll get concentration 2 first, I'm not sure which. But this guy definitely needs will. And part of me wants to try go ahead and put a point in strength, because that affects health points, and we don't want him to have so little health that he gets hit too hard. You know what I mean? Speed and defense values, and slightly the magic value. So if that actually ups his defense, that might actually be the better one. Because not only would that increase will a little bit, but it would also increase defense. So we'll do a 2 to 1 with the skill and will. Like so. And we got Best of Mirrors, a Staff of Storms, and an Aquamarine. Okie dokie. After a series of attacks from the party, Grob finally gave up. The creature collapsed, struggling to breathe. You've lost. Do you have anything to say before I kill you? First, we're going to double check over here. Yeah, that's a Staff of Storm, so probably only for him. Vest of Mirrors, cloth armor, potions, and then the aquamarine. Sell it to a merchant to make a few gold. So, yeah, that's Draco. Dora can also equip the Vest of Mirrors. She got on now the leather armor. This is not nearly as good on the defense. We do gain some SP regen, magic, and health regen, but yeah, no. And she can equip the staff, so those are definitely for Draco then. Staff of Storms, old quarterstaff, yeah. That's a big difference. Better damage, better magic, better crit hit, it's just better overall. This one has a little less defense, but we get magic and health regen and SP regen. SP regen being really good. It's not that little. It's not that much of a difference in armor and speed. So yeah, best of mirrors. That sounds good. Slowed resist. Does that mean he's resistant to slowed with it on? That's also very good compared to this. Yeah. Yeah, he has resistance to slow as well. Okay. Very cool. Just one thing. Grob lifted his staff and growled an incantation that cast a spell over the entire group. Draco had no time to protect them with an anti-curse, and the group was instantly paralyzed. Loren struggled against the spell, but Grob's sorcery was too much, even for her. You may have managed to defeat me this time, but this is far from over. I have another surprise for you. The dead goblins and thugs whom the group had killed were changing form, turning into what looked like city guards. Though they were in a pool of blood, the guards' uniforms were unmistakable. We're in serious trouble now. I do hope you like humans, Amazon Queen. You're all going to rot in the Empire's prison now. Grob disappeared, fading into thin air just as he had appeared. The screams were enough to alert local guards to come running to see what had happened. This is bad. Blast that Grob. He's foiled me again. You would think I would know better by now. We have more to worry about right now. Halt. Lower your weapons. Despite the demands of the guard, Loren had no intention of surrendering. She tried to resist as the soldiers swarmed around them, shouting obscenities. But it was futile. There were too many of them, and soon everyone's hands were shackled behind them, and they were pushed through the streets to their fate. Unhand me at once. Cease your struggling, wench. Wench, you will die this day. Your Majesty, no. Fighting will only make us look guilty. Just let them take us in. I promise I can get us out. You promise? Dwarf's honor. That's nonsense. You can't promise to get us free from a jail cell. Yeah, I can. I bet you 10 gold I can. A guard pushed Eleanor forward harshly, and she stumbled forward with a groan. Listen, I can cast a flash spell to blind them all right now. It'll give us more than enough time to escape. We can take horses and seek refuge with the elves and druids. They're friendlier than these guys by far. What are you guys whispering? Shut up. After the guard moved back to restraining Loren, Eleanor inched back to Draco and Dora. But the Empire, those guys? Bunch of big meanies, really. They'll just enslave us, you know. No trial or anything. But we can escape right now with my magic. This was a key decision that rested upon their shoulders at that late hour of the night. While their journey was still just in its early stages, the importance of this choice was unparalleled. But they had to make the decision quickly, and that is exactly what they did. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a branching choice. So we'll follow Dora's plan. As much as it hurt her pride to do so, Loren was convinced to surrender to the guards. The party was captured and locked away in prison. Dora informed them that she couldn't free them as promised, since it was more difficult than she had originally thought. As time slipped away, the tensions between them were starting to mount. Loren wore an imperturbable expression, but Eleanor was not nearly so calm when trapped behind the bars of a jail cell. Dora, you don't have to shout so loud. I'm right here, you know. You haven't been able to get us out of here like you promised. Don't you have anything to say for yourself? We were counting on you. And somebody owes me 10 gold pieces. I'm just saying. Calm down. I'm working on it. I didn't think they would use this type of lock. You were just going to lockpick us out. I thought you had connections or wiles to talk ourselves out. You're just a common thief, aren't you? Don't go throwing around that word so lightly. I may borrow things without permission, forget to give them back, but I am not a common thief. This lock is just unpickable, is all. I trusted you, and now we're in here to rot. All of you, shut up. Eleanor jumped slightly as she looked over to where she was confined. I am sorry. Just because we can't escape by the method we originally wanted, doesn't mean we can't still escape. Do you have a plan? I've been thinking nonstop. I may have something, but it will take some coordinating to execute properly. It doesn't involve killing, does it? I hate killing. Gets all over my robes. Buy some new robes, you dunderhead. Stop bickering for 2 minutes. Her Grace has something to say. Dora and Draco grew bashfully silent. What is your plan, your Majesty? Loren's eyes met with Eleanor's as she looked at her like she was more than just a slave for the first time. It's risky, and yes, it does involve killing. Drats. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to rot in this jail cell for much longer. I have to find my mother. Loren closed her eyes for a moment as she returned to her thoughts. We can kill the guard who brings our food and use his keys to unlock our cell. We'll also steal his weaponry, and then we... Before her thoughts could continue, the sound of guards' heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. Everyone in the party came to attention and looked up to see an old man surrounded by several armored men. He stopped in front of their cell and waved the men to leave. Eleanor surveyed the man curiously, knowing full well he had to be a mage. He wore a wizard's hat and he carried a magician's staff. Eleanor watched with a flicker of worry in his eyes as the old man eyed Loren intensely. She looked as though she were ready to spring into action at any moment, but the expression of the old man was imperturbable. Good day, young foreigners. Who are you? You're very direct for a prisoner, young lady, but there is no reason for me not to introduce myself properly. My name is Apollinacio, and I'm the Arch-Wizard of Grimoire. So what do you want from us? Well, your group is a very unique bunch. We don't see a collection of individuals with such a diverse background in these parts. Loren looked suspiciously at the old man, but she remained silent as she listened to his explanation. Since you are all quite unique, we have a proposition for you. Would you be interested in hearing our offer? I doubt we have very much choice in the matter. This town's council is willing to forgive you for the trouble you stirred up if you will help us with a very urgent matter. There is a precious artifact that we are trying to recover, but all of our attempts to get it back thus far have been thwarted. The Empire is in search of the only known holy sword left in existence, the Ember Blade. It is said to be atop Mount Kronos. But that mountain is in Elven territory. The old mage's brow furrowed after being addressed by an elf. So it is. You no doubt know of the impossibility of humans traveling through Elven territory, being one. Eleanor frowned from hearing the venom in Apollinasio's voice. You think they would let us pass because we're not all humans, correct? That's exactly what we hope. Since your group is small and of mixed kind, we are hoping the elves will think that you are simply travelers rather than on a mission for the Empire. So you just want us to go to the mountain and retrieve the sword, and then we're free to go? Yes. Easy peasy. Almost too easy. What's the catch? The journey to Mount Kronos is not an easy one. The forest has many dangers, so the elves will not be your only threat. The mountains themselves are home to the mountain dwarves, snow goblins, and other hostile creatures. Dora frowned at his comment, but Loren interjected before the dwarf woman had the chance to say anything more. I'm looking for my missing mother. That is our priority and why we came to this town. If your freedom is not incentive enough, it's not. Well, as a member of the council, I could make use of all the resources available to me to find your missing loved one. I may even personally know her whereabouts. What is your mother's name? Loren tensed. Queen Karen of the Amazons. Silence fell for a few moments after she admitted the truth of their mission. A Misho didn't seem to be surprised by her statement and instantly drew up conclusions in his mind. He nodded in response. I can most certainly help you. The surprise reflected in Loren's eyes was clear. Are you serious? Do I have your word? Yes, you certainly do, Princess. I will be glad to assist you, if you first accept my task. Loren hesitated for a moment, a war of thoughts pulling back and forth in her mind, before she nodded somberly. I will accept your mission then. We will venture through Elven territory to retrieve the artifact for you. Wonderful. I will be accompanying you, of course, to ensure that everything goes as planned. You mean to make sure we don't run away? You could say that. Loren looked over to Eleanor, a glimmer of excitement reflected in her eyes. I'm not so sure. Perhaps a Misho is too old for such things. The elven forest isn't really a place for decrepit old men. Watch your tongue. A Misho was silent for a moment before he started to mutter a magical enchantment. Eleanor was petrified, unable to move even a centimeter under the spell's powers. Loren blinked in surprise before a shadow of worry came over her face. A Misho, undo this spell. Eleanor may not be the wisest person, but this is too much. A servant should know the proper place. I agree. Now release her. A Misho looked somewhat disappointed as he waved his wand, and Eleanor returned to normal, gasping for air. Loren placed her hand on her shoulder and looked at her with an unusual look of concern on her face. Are you well? Eleanor stared at her for a moment, rather stupefied, before nodding. She most likely dismissed the unusual behavior as a side effect of the spell. I think so. Good. Now apologize. Eleanor looked up at Apollyon with a very changed opinion of the old man. Please forgive my rudeness, Sir Apollyon. I had clearly underestimated you. Watch your tongue in the future. Sharp words can incite as much trouble as the sharp edge of a sword. I will remember that. Though her comment had not gone over well, she did feel rather pleased that Loren had actually shown a degree of concern for her. When do we leave? Tomorrow, before dawn. I'm sorry to say that I cannot free you from the dungeon until that time. So sleep as well as you can. We have a long road ahead of us. Review your before proceeding. Loren's walk was noticeably more forced. To Eleanor, it was clear that she was unhappy with her situation of being forced to do a man's chore before getting his help. However, her silence told her that she was willing to do it for her mother's sake. Careful. We will be traveling along the outskirts of the elven forest. Keep your eyes out for hostiles. You think they'll just start attacking us? I wouldn't put it past them. The wizard said it with disgust, glaring at the trees. Eleanor walked by Loren's side silently, heeding a Misho's warning against her better judgment of the elves. But she heard movement in the forest nearby. No one revealed themselves, but it put Eleanor on alert just the same. The skyline of Mount Kronos formed in front of them, and it looked like a perilous climb. A Misho urged them to keep up a quick pace, however, and Loren did not argue. The last of the trees were about to be behind them when Eleanor heard noise from within them again. She spun around. Between the trunks of the trees stood a few elves with their weapons drawn, closely guarding their home. The elf in front gestured with his hand, and the others disappeared into the forest. He gave Eleanor a long look before turning back as well. Eleanor? The group had not stopped and was about to go on without her. coming. They had passed through the elven territory unscathed, but an even greater challenge was before them. Meanwhile, in the northern border of the region, an evil force was crafting sinister plans. The party was still innocently unaware of this creature's actions, but it was only a matter of time until that would change. A heavily armored, mysterious being sat on its throne, comfortable in the hot room, despite the volcano's lava flowing so near. This evil thing's name was Faust, a name that would come to be spat and whispered in fear. Ara, Ara. He looked up to see Joel, his servant. Oh, there you go, that explains it. His servant Succubus, approaching him, swaying her hips back and forth. Your news? Karen has been taken care of. Good. Any complications? Her daughter, Loren, is looking for her as we speak. She is a very determined woman, so I doubt that she will give up searching easily. Before he could respond to her, Grob came forward to kneel before him. My lord, I have returned. It's about time. I have come bearing good news. I have taken care of Loren and her party. They are now imprisoned in a human city. Were you really able to capture them that easily? Yes, my lord. Jewel frowned and crossed her arms. She knew that Faust would not like the news, but she could not keep it to herself. But they aren't in prison. Not a one of them. Faust's gaze was undiscernible, but the air was thick with tension in the ensuing silence. Care to elaborate? Exactly that. They are not in prison. They're waltzing around freely. Grob simply scoffed. Even if they aren't, they've been dealt with. My plans are going perfectly. It doesn't matter which side they end up on, or where they are right now. They are going to trigger a war between the humans and the elves just as we wanted. Tell me again how Loren's involvement in this will help us. She was supposed to be imprisoned. Simple, my lord. They will be at the heart of the conflict, not us. We will be able to begin our invasion freely, and there's a good chance that Loren will be killed in the struggle between the two warring races. They will be distracted fighting against each other, and with their unusual group, fatality is nearly guaranteed. Faust remained silent, considering the explanation carefully and trying to calculate the potential repercussions and what could go wrong. Grob's plan wasn't entirely foolproof, but it did sound surprisingly thorough considering who had crafted it. I approve of these plans. Let us see how far they succeed. And they had better succeed, Grob. Do I make myself clear? Transparent, my lord. Can we at least send someone to watch over Loren and her party? They've gained a new ally already. They could be more dangerous than we think. You speak the truth. Make it so. As I have said before, you do not have to worry. I have taken care of that matter as well. What do you mean? As I said, my lord, there is already someone watching over them very closely. Everything will go according to plan. I have made sure of it. For your sake, it had better. Do you think we can trust a Polymetio? I rarely trust anyone I've just met, but the arch wizard does unsettle me more than usual. It's the beard, isn't it? It's way too long. It's freaking me out. Loren shook her head at her. I am comfortable with magic, but he is a very important wizard to the Empire, which means he'll always have their agenda in mind. What I fear most is he'll try to use us as his puppets for his nation's schemes. I don't like being used. Neither do I. But we're bound to him for now. And it infuriates me to know that my mother is out there somewhere, but I am trudging through the snow by his orders. We would not have been in that jail cell if that creature had not made us look like murderers. I will make sure that Goblin dies particularly slowly. To be fair, we also wouldn't have been in that cell if Dora had kept her word. I will not dwell on that. Neither should you. I wasn't being serious. Oh, you should lighten up sometimes. Lighten up? What does that even mean? It's sort of like the opposite of that. What? Never mind. You had mentioned before that your mother was very private. Were you close to her? That is a very personal question. Yes, mistress. Loren shifted her weight and I looked away. She is the queen. She was busy. Of course she would not have time to confide in me. I am her kin, and so I must be taught to be strong. Babes who need coddling are weak. She has made me a very strong person, and I have no regrets. Eleanor could not help but catch the glimmer of sadness in Loren's eyes, but she masked it well. And you did not need a mother as well. Eleanor had not had any family since she was too young to even remember. She was but one elf of only a handful in the citadel. Her matron was the only semblance of a mother that she could ever recall. No, ma'am, and it shows. You are the stronger for it. I Eleanor almost bit her tongue from speaking her mind, but Loren seemed in a tolerant mood. I don't think family ties weaken us. I believe they give us ultimate strength. Loren slowly turned to stare her down. She blinked. For you, maybe. Not for Amazons. Her body language made it clear that the discussion was over. We should break camp soon. There is much to be done. You call yourself a fire mage, but why not practice the other elements as well? They're no fun. Fire is what's fun. Praise the fire. May all burn before our glory. Any particular reason why? Fire's warm and cozy, and also deadly, and unpredictable, and pretty to look at. And you can do this. Did that explain everything? You left out dragons. Right, yes, I liked to pretend to be a dragon when I was a boy. Roar and such. I have to know something. Why did you follow Loren and me to Grimoire after we saved you? Follow you. Follow, she says. Follow, indeed. Okay, yes, I followed you. And you were an elf heading into the biggest empire city. You didn't stand a chance. You were worried about us. Why didn't you just warn us? Hey, you didn't want me around, remember? Sounds like you just wanted an excuse to follow us and keep quiet. That's not all. Anyway, I liked you guys. You didn't. Well, you knew I was part elf and you didn't care. I don't understand. Is that very peculiar? Oh, yeah, definitely. Usually I'm boxed around or dragged to jail. What? Why? It's the Empire's favorite pastime. They need to get a new hobby. Yeah, but when I'm with you guys, I don't really fear all that stuff. Eleanor wondered just how bad his experiences had been with the people that Loren's actions towards him seemed welcoming him. That old guy is a bit seedy, don't you think? A Polly Michaud? Why? He's got those eyes, the mean ones. He keeps staring me down. Is he? I hadn't noticed. Well, I do. It's the look all imperialists give me. It's like they can just sense the elf in me, like that's a big deal or something. I know what you mean. Draco cast a wary look at Apollonicho across the camp. He's looking at me right now. See? Draco left to go hide. Okay, so his is nothing's new with me. Okay. Hey, Polimicho, stop staring at Draco. I don't like him, but I don't like you even more. Polimicho studied Eleanor with open caution. Finally, she had enough and walked right up to him. Do I have something on my face, or do you have something to say? The wizard's mouth twitched as if he was going to snarl. Instead, he just sighed. You have much nerve to approach the arch-wizard of Grimoire like that. Everyone else can approach you, why not I? You know very well. I am not a forest elf. I was raised by the Amazons. Why would you still hate me? Hate you? Dear girl, if I had reason to hate you, it wouldn't matter where you hailed from. My enemies do not stand for long. My feelings toward you are caution, and that is it. Your caution feels a lot like boiling hot resentment. Then you are interpreting it wrong. I'm safe. I know it's surprising, but I'm honestly not going to backstab you or anyone else here. So ease up, okay? Ease is for lazy fools. Wow, you need a vacation. Those as well. I have a query for you. Yes, sir? Tell me about that one. Eleanor saw the wizard gesture towards Draco, who was wolfing down his second plate of food by the fire. Draco, he's a fire mage we found on our way to Grimoire. Draco, Draco, the ancient elvish word for drake. Grimoire. A Polynesian muttered to himself as he stared at the fire mage with an increasing glare. I'm still here, by the way. The old man shifted his gaze back to Eleanor, but gave her only a brief look before walking briskly away. You're an arch-wizard. What does that mean? You ask the most insultingly simple questions I have ever been subjected to. I do recognize you are not from the Empire, so I will help eradicate your ignorance. I am a member of the Council in Grimoire, which is the head of government for the entire Empire. I represent the Wizards Guild, and therefore all of Wizardry. So you are the best wizard. I believe you'll find that quite subjective. So, no, you are trying my patience. I have more important people to be involved with if you don't mind. Okay. You know why I am here. I know, I know, I know. Sheesh. Haven't you made me feel awful enough already? Not nearly enough yet. That place was cold and icky. Look, okay? I totally thought I could get us out of there. I've done it loads of times. I wasn't lying to you. Loads of times, she says. I bet you know that jail inside and out. Duh. I knew how we would escape and everything. They put us in a weird cell with a weird lock, so I couldn't pick it. Your entire plan was just to pick the lock. And I was going to sneak you guys out. You may be small, but the rest of us aren't. If I could take it back, I would. Sorry, and stuff. We're here now, not in jail. Can't we move on now? So, is it true that that big lady is a princess? Yes, of the Amazons in the West. Wow. Dora's eyes glimmered. Does she live in a big glittery castle? Lots of gold and such? Not particularly. The citadel is made of stone. The royals prize fur and pelts above weak metals. Weak. Gold and silver are precious metals. They're pretty and sell for tons of coin. Yes, but the Amazons have no use for a metal that they can't make a weapon out of. Gold is rather soft. I guess that's true. How boring. So it's just all about war with her then? Yep. Oh, that's a drag. But she'll still get me my reward, right? She does have something cool to give me. Amazons make excellent bows. I think she would give you one of their best. A new bow? I think I would actually like that. Okay, sounds good to me. Well, that's just my guess. But Dora was already daydreaming about her new weapon to be. When you said you couldn't leave Grimoire because of your job, you never said what your job was. Oh, yeah, I suppose not. Eleanor waited for a follow-up, but Dora didn't continue. Well, what is the job that you left behind? Oh, nothing really. Just transporting goods. I was a transporter. Aren't you a little small to carry much? I've carried stuff twice my size, but I usually just carry really important things, so it's not too much to handle at all. Things that cost a lot of money. Right, exactly. Things that people won't miss. Yes. Things that people don't know you're taking. Eleanor gave Dora a disapproving look. Look, I know it sounds bad, but it's not. I ain't a thief or anything. I'm just in the business of collecting stuff. Really cool stuff. No matter where it is. What? If there was a cool vase in some ruins, no one would get huffy about a researcher taking it. If it's someone else's property, it's not yours. Dora pouted. I knew I shouldn't have told you anything. Hi again. Hello. Any news on Mommy? No news on Mommy. Shop. Okay, so we can probably sell the aquamarine. It says directly in the description. You can sell it for a few gold, for 30 gold specifically. And we can probably sell this vest, unless the Poli Micho can use it. Yeah, because it's not better than the Vest of Mirrors. Vest versus Vest of Mirrors. Probably. It's not better than the leather armor. And he has a vest on already. Okay. Sounds good. Old quarterstaff, what do you have? You have an old quarterstaff. Okay, so we'll sell that as well. Okay, so we were going to get, oh, we can't, there's only one axe. Did the items change, or? I can't tell if the items changed or if there was just only one axe. No, the items did change a little bit because that sonic sword wasn't there, I don't think. And yeah, that one thing that we were talking about that I was going to get her isn't here either. Okay. So the items do change a little bit, it looks like. That's somewhat distressing, but okay. So that's one-handed. Mace the Bear. This has a bit more crit hit and speed, but it's damage type air, and that always makes me nervous when something has an element to it. Gladius doesn't have as much damage, and I do have her on her weakest one first, right? 14. So yeah, that's not nearly as good. Although it does have better crit hit, defense, speed, and attack for only 1 less damage. So actually it might be good. Sword Gladius. Normal. Okay, that's two-handed. Minor Sonic Sword. 1 less, but that's not quite as good as Gladius. We have enough to get Gladius, so... yeah, I think we'll get Gladius. I don't think it's as good as the hand axe. Yeah, because that's 3 less damage. I mean, the other stats are a bit better with the attack and the crit hit, but that's 3 less damage, not just 1. And we essentially transfer that damage over to the attack, so... yeah. Okay. Which means I probably get the Tempered Longsword. Only difference is a bit more crit hit, so it's not like it's that more impressive, but... and then we'll just sell the Tempered Sword. So that's got Loren maxed out on weapons, at least right now. The question is, do I want to keep trying, or do I want to just save up in case it moves again? I don't want that one because that's air. And that's air. It would be nice to buy me a Gladius, but we don't have enough for that. That's two-handed, that's two-handed, two-handed. And then that's air as well. Mace of Eagles isn't as good as what we just got. That's 3 less damage. I don't think anything else would do even more damage because these are lesser. Okay. So let's go ahead and see here. That's just the old quarter staff, so there's nothing better for him here. And then we're having her focus on the back row with her bow. So yeah, the bow is not as good, the short bow. So we probably should have kept that crossbow for her, I guess. Because she's got a hunting bow. So she'll be our back row specialist. We need like one more front row specialist, but doesn't look like these bows are any better than what she's got. Holy Michel already has that, so we're good on the weapons, it looks like. Okay, so what about defense then? Mort's Mantle, that's stupid expensive, and they can't even equip it. Leather Boots of Ice Giant, Frozen Resist, probably would be good if we're about to go into a frozen area. Yeah, defense is 1 less, as the speed and threshold is 1 less, but we get a good amount of attack, health regen, damage, and frozen resist. Although we don't have 375 gold, so that yeah. Chain boots is what she already has on. I don't see any other boots. Ring of defense would give her 5 defense, but we don't have enough for that anyways. We don't quite have enough for the plate shoulder pads. That would be good though. What does she currently have on shoulder pads? I'm guessing that's right here, or that leather shawl. If we unequipped that and sold it, we would have enough, right? Get some plate shoulder pads right there. Which would be better, chain pauldrons or plate, probably the plate. That's 11, that's 8. So what's the difference between studded and chained? 8 defense, 2 threshold, 1 threshold, okay. So yeah, let's get some shoulder plates. Sell the leather shawl and plate shoulders. There we go. Yeah, because that's 3 less, but we do get 1 speed. That's 3 less and 1 less threshold, but yeah. Now we are officially broke, so we'll have to leave the shop at that. Grimoire? Can we do anything in Grimoire? Tasks? Oh, we can gain fame in Grimoire, okay. And there's even a shop, very cool. And we are broke, so... I wonder how often we can do this, like is there a limit to it, or... Fight a 2v2 battle in the arena. It has to be 2v2, right? So the party limit is 2. Okay. God damn, bro. He just like, what, 1-2 shot us? Yeah, bro is owning us. Oh, okay. Never mind. Apparently we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What about defeating guards in a tournament? That's not limited to 2 people, right? So, okay, what can you do? Paralyzed, normal damage, chance of causing paralyzed, and then
I
fireball.
don't like you. Try this on for size. Try this on for size. I hope this is slightly uncomfortable. I hope this is slightly uncomfortable.
Now let's see if they had anything good.
I've been practicing.
So is there no limit to how often we can do this or something? Like, I'm a little confused right now. I am a little confused. Okay, as far as I can tell, we can do that just as forever if we want to. So in case we need to start leveling up or something and we start losing a whole lot, we'll do that. Probably, probably the reputation just does like the first game and changes prices maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. So let's just go ahead and move on to Mount Kronos. If we have trouble with the fights, we know where we can level up. The party was already well into their journey. The terrain was difficult to navigate, but made easier with the help of their new companion. Along the way, they were surprised to find an overturned cart right in their path. Who left this here? Hold, show yourself. Out from behind the cart jumped a large and dangerous-looking dwarf, brandishing his axe. Stay away, the lot of you. You'll never get your hands on these goods. Eleanor lowered her weapon, realizing that the dwarf was only protecting the cart, not ambushing them. I wonder who would win, the great Loren or this mighty dwarf? The dwarf, duh. I bet you 10 gold he wins. 10 gold on Loren? You're on. I am fighting no one. Can there ever be a moment when you're serious? Forgive me, your grace. Eleanor whispered to Dora when Loren looked away. Your gold is as good as mine. Meanwhile, Loren had given the dwarf her pouch of water. Oh, will you look at the time? It is apparently 1800 already. How time flies when you have fun. So with that, that is that for today. Loren, the Amazon princess, looks promising even if Apollonicio seems like an absolute ass in this game for some reason, which is weird. I don't know. I mean, you would think with the fact that the front page said that that indicated that castle that would be somewhat connected, but unless Apollonicio is just like a fake in this game, I don't know. Maybe he's a mole or something. I don't know. Let's see, is there anybody on that we want to raid? V-Stream, no raid for you. Stay safe, friends. Twitch, probably, maybe. Again, unless V-Stream has somebody that they specifically want me to raid. V-Stream, feel free to speak up. Do-do-do-do-do. Have we rated her this month? I don't think we have. No, we have not. That could be an option. And she's not on any longer. I would really like to rate her, but she doesn't stay on for very long, which is somewhat sad. Okay. Um, okay, so no raid on Twitch either. Stay safe, friends. Maybe I will see you tomorrow for some more um, Star Wars.